small, wrinkled woman does not greet you. She nods along to something on her radio. A photograph is clutched in her hands, and there is a warm smile on her face. The photo, an ambrotype from the turn of the century, as golden as her smile. No response wherever this woman is. Your word.
Wait. She's just a distracted old woman. Better to leave her. Why? I just told you why.
A Stars Ryko, one of the finest Zhimsk-made motor carriages ever. An oldie, but not many people outside of Grad and Revachol were.
A Stars Ryko KK2. That's a classic model. Never thought I'd see another one repainted after what happened last time.
No, only that the motor carriage is typically baby blue. The colors of Sigismund the Great, an ancient Zhimsk ruler. His banners were famously zephyr and white. The colors of the Stars Ryko.
That's, well, yes, exactly it, more or less. Except it was a crowd of them. They said it was an honor killing, Hussar style. The Zhimsk community protested the trial, flying the colors.
Correction, 4,395. The fourth largest public protest of a criminal trial in Revachol.
Is that so, officer? I'll take you at your word. People we are paid to protect. Let's leave it at that. Four years for murder in Reunion. The perps were remorseful. Their sorry knocked 8 years off the sentence. That's the system.
The prisons in the greater Revachol industrial harbor are already full. Prisoners are expensive to maintain. The longer the sentence, the larger.
Could it be another Stars Ryko murder? You really should ask me to brief you on the case. But right now, I'm just gonna go ahead and guess the two aren't related. Yes, detective? Okay, I'm not going to honor kill anyone over this, but I've seen it blue and white. It's much better that way.
A lorry stuck in the traffic jam. This big, heavy Grad-made machine is well kept for such an old machine. The windows are clear. They've been recently washed. You can see a lorryman's cabin. The driver has adorned his space with a substantial collection of peculiar paraphernalia. Proclamations about honor, strength, and purity are glued to vary. A large metal pendant hangs from the rear-view mirror. It is a seal of Royalist-era Revachol. The back end of the cabin has a small perch to sleep, large ashtrays. A book with ragged edges catches your notice. The front cover features a large, muscular man. The title...
Racist nationalist paraphernalia. Not unusual in this part of town. This is our guy. Likely, yes. This guy's proud of who he is. Drapes it all over his machine.
Bastards! We have a right to work! Hold up and stay frosty, everyone. Cops are here.
You here to fuck with us? Beat the honest worker down.
We're here to fight for a cause. Stripes usually have problems with people. Good. But
fighting for a cause here.
Right to work! Right to work!
Besides, we're not that different. It helps if people see us talking, cops and strikebreakers together. Shows authorities are on our side. Builds confidence. Rights of people. Rights of workers. To have gainful employment. To make a salary. And feed.
His manner of speaking is wooden, the tone of voice bland and uninspired, almost as if compiling replies from a set of learned phrases.
Maybe you should ask them the questions, like why we're not allowed to make a living here.
Shame on you!
We have families to feed, you piece of shit.
So do we, Scab.
When a bunch of ungrateful, lazy cockroaches can't get their act together, decide to block honest work for other people.
Beats me. They mumble nonsense about boardrooms and workers' rights, while we
Have the right to work!
There's something odd in the way he carries himself. His set of clothing looks vaguely mismatched. The different pieces of the attire seem ill-fitting. His shirt is far too small and an unpleasantly tight fit, while the overalls, held up by a belt, seem to fit a man with much more corpulence. He ignores your question, choosing instead to turn to the emaciated workers. Silence is the answer. There's something off here, but he won't say what.
Honest men and women with rights to work, to be useful, not toys for corporate interests.
We came here to help the harbor run smoothly in time of crisis. If union fucks don't want work, they ought to let in those who do want work.
I have a question. Why do all these men follow your lead?
You think they follow because I'm big and loud? No. They follow the rules of the market. The rule.
You've been talking to him for quite a while now. Something is off with this guy. Ask him where he's from.
What's it to you?
suspect? Done no crimes.
Every once in a while, it's like you can see glimpses of another guy under the guise of this fighter for jobs. He seems a more brutal, cunning, and suspicious person. Just a hunch. Or you just might be paranoid.
We're all workers, right? Workers stick together. Came from the eminent domain, from Jamrock. Backgrounds in odd jobs, heavy lifting, cargo hauling. Worked at Territorial. Ring a bell? We're done here. I have a strike to break.
Before the cargo can, you attempt to turn to your left. The lieutenant considers your actions with some puzzlement. You're back before the cargo container. Its drawer has... You attempt to your left. The lieutenant considers your actions with no reply. The knock produces a hollow ring.
Mr. Dubois, every worker... That's right, Mr. Dubois. I see the socialist democratic fervor now burns in your heart, too. How can I help you today? I'm very glad to hear that, Harry. One question. You didn't actually happen...
He's trying to figure out if you're lying.
You're right, Harry. You only had to unlock the door.
He was testing you.
Now let's get down to brass tacks. It's time for men like me and you to figure out who's killed who and why. Real police work is gonna start happening now. I promise you, Harry, this is gonna be good. By now, I'm sure you've figured out who the dead man was working for. The bad guys. Wild Pines. Sent to scare us. Harry, this strike is the culmination of many, many mistakes made by the Wild Pines group.
You mean our victim?
A security contractor? Can you imagine that? Workers standing in peaceful protest, united in the spirit of fellowship, and they send hired killers to mow us down with machine gun fire?
He performs a motion as if spraying...
I'm talking beasts. Hardened killers from proxy wars in Yisut, Semenine, Saramaritsa, you name it, they've done it. Raping, everything they did there, they brought over here. They want to turn Revachol into a third world slum. Honestly, the only thing they didn't do is kill the village elephant. No, Harry, the elephant is metaphorical, and so is the village, but Now, I haven't personally witnessed the brutalities out there. I have the luxury of staying in my container, you see. If I need to go somewhere, they just move my container. Yes, I'm an old man, Harry. My legs aren't what they used to be. They lift my office, but enough about me and my fun container. The killers the company hired, one of them got downright suicidal, getting drunk, violent, a little rapey. Even their own negotiator couldn't control him. That's your boy, the one who likes hanging out and trees.
What makes you think the Wild Pines negotiator can't control them?
Harry, what you need to realize is, we dock workers are not pushovers. We got grit, Harry. This whole neighborhood does. Push us hard enough and we push back. And when we do, we push to... There's a militant wing inside the Union. A group of people whose duties don't involve manual labor, but peacekeeping in the...
That sounds a bit like organized crime.
They're like you guys. Idealistic people who want to make sure bad...
Again, that sounds like organized crime.
So these idealists killed our victim?
One day Titus Hardy, leader of this peacekeeping faction, comes up to me and says, "Boss, socialist democratic fervor." He probably worded it differently, but that was the idea. Sure sounded to me like they killed him.
Aren't you worried we might arrest them for this?
Oh, I'm not at all worried about that. These are not the kind of men who get arrested. They're Martinez boys, tough and gritty. I'd like to see the man who...
He places a lot of faith in that lawyer girl. Perhaps this is a tactical error. Anyway.
How do I know? Let me tell you about these people. That's last winter, some poor workers in Terminal E went on a little strike. The company sent in Sediment, a security contractor. The strike was over the workers' right to wear protective footwear, Harry. These guys turn up and start beating people. Tell you what, Harry, I wouldn't be surprised if we got the same mercenary company after a little
So you believe the scabs were organized by the security contractor?
You said it. Hell, one of those guys looks big enough to take down that proverbial elephant. Boys like that don't just happen.
That does sound quite unlikely, yes. The big guy leading the scabs at the gate is colossal.
Oh, Liz is a bright one. I paid for that law degree myself, thinking it'll probably turn her all fancy. But hell, Harry, she came back a firebrand.
Wait, the girl by the whirling, who was keeping an eye on you. Is he talking about her?
I did that, didn't I? She thinks of herself as a guerrilla fighter. These middle-class kids and the books they read are crazy, Harry. I think she would rather be an insurgent than a lawyer. I hope it's a phase. Oh, they are simply fine young men, all 7 of them. Exemplary union members, always working to advance their position in the local socialist democratic movement. Core members. Old Theo used to run them, but things really kicked into gear when Titus took the reins and named the group after himself. Gotta love his initiative.
Interesting. Who's seconding?
They're almost all of them great guys, born leaders. Whatever work with them. Hell, interview them. But don't fight them. They really are just like you. Men who like beer, women, and you know what, Harry? I got a feeling they're gonna show up in full force tomorrow.
The lieutenant marks something in his notebook.
But of course, it's the least I can do for my good friend Harry. I'll do it.
When you meet this Titus, tell him about this. See what he has to say.
Also, Harry, here's 5 real. I'm not giving you anything. I'm just holding out 5 real. Oh, I wasn't offering it to you, just holding it out there. But I'm willing to share information. Was there anything else? Was it a good talk? I'm not sure we made much headway here. I was hoping we'd bust the case wide open. Heck, I don't know what happened, Harry. I wanted you to feel like Mr. Martinez. And of course, I also wanted you to find your... Yes, Harry. It's like I can't fully trust you if you're not a man of the...
A man of the left. So you have to be a social democrat.
What does your heart tell you about your lost gun, Harry? Does it tell you to forget about it? Or do you think it wants to be found? I think it's lonely and cold.
And what would isn't?
Once again, I require nothing unethical or illegal of you. You just need to get 2 little signatures on this piece of paper, and then mail it to my accountant in La Delta. I'm glad you asked, Harry. The Union is going to build a modern youth centre in Martinez. It will be righteous. There's a nameless little street on the coast with some old houses around it. Most people have already signed. I just need 2 more signatures. On the coast, Harry, across the canal. There's a cul-de-sac there, a little village they're calling it. A gloomy place. You'll find it. I trust you. They are just going to have to deal with the construction noise for 6 months, and then they'll be living like kings.
Is he absolutely sure the tenants won't be thrown out in the street?
Am I? Harry, these people, Martinez is the most important thing in my life. We're gonna build a youth centre there. The value of their properties goes up and kids have a place to play in. I'm looking out for these people, not pulling the rug from under them, Harry. I'm looking out for all of Martinez.
It depends. I don't think what we just got from Mr. Clare was very...
As I said, it weighs on me heavily. But once we get really talking, well, I'm gonna hand you the keys to Martinez. And maybe...
He's saying as little as possible, as vaguely as he can, deliberately omitting things.
Perfectly acceptable. No one's gonna force you into anything, but I don't know about that gun of yours. You see, but the good news is, the moment you change your mind and want to look into this matter...
The lieutenant's eyes meet yours, and he shrugs.
You might have noticed there's one hanging up.
Oh my! Don't take this question personally.
Mr. Clare, the man was hanged with a cargo belt. A steel-reinforced cargo belt. It's besides, getting the body down would benefit all of us. It's a stain on the neighborhood.
I can certainly see how having him up there might start affecting some real estate values. But of course, all joking aside, I am going to help. Jean-Luc, my boy, I'm sending 2 police officers down. They have a dead body in it. And Jean, please take it easy with the race signs. That's a yes to getting the body. You can find Jean-Luc down at the gates. He's the big, impressive one. You know, tattoos, muscles, ethnic looking. Can't miss him. Great guy. Most certainly, Harry. Nothing brightens my day like brainstorming these things with you. By all means, Harry, what's on your mind? What? Oh, how could I forget your little side project? Well done, Harry. Well done. Don't even tell me what it was. But good job. I love it when workers take the initiative like this. See you soon, Debarge.
The file cabinet stands steady as ever. Sliding out. Remember, Leo, Everart's shoes. Special whirling borscht. All items on the list. Hundreds of documents. And the same materials. You already went through all of these. The drawers.
Nobody betrays your degeneracy.
Yeah, Measurehead. His body totally betrays his degeneracy.
That is precisely the negligence that has led you to succumb to Al Ghul. You reek of it. An invisible sword of Al Ghul emerges from your throat. You cannot see it, but others can. It is making the woman in my company sick. Yes.
He means alcohol.
Correct, my small skull servant. Al Ghul is an ancient Ilmaran poison, a parasitic fungus that has colonized your race. It is a trick the desert pygmies played on you, for humiliating them and stripping them of their land.
Intentionally fermented drinks have existed for 10,000 years.
This is a fabrication the alchemists of Yizot and Bashir and their Rolam and Ghul have fed your people. No one believing in it, race loser. Why don't you have another drink? Your features are not yet congenital.
Oh yeah, Measurehead.
No, you don't. You need to get another drink. Occidental Haplogroup.
Does this remind you of someone? The guy down there?
Jerking motions. Signs of a late-stage neurodegenerative disorder. How far the Occidental Haplogroup has fallen. You gave the world eugenics, electricity, and powerful weapons of war like missiles and aerostat. You dominated lesser cultures, like the deformed Hemians and the inexplicably potato-obsessed Quakers. But now your ascent to the you will be super...
It is, baby, yeah. You know it.
Enough with this begging. You should leave the state. Bring your troops to the Simenon Islands and to Boogie Street, and we will pulverize you. When you are gone, we will build the walls will be lined with bottles of Al Ghul, your beloved beverage.
You could internalize Measurehead's race theory. It would enrich you rhetorically. The best idea. He does not so much as glance at the object.
Stop showing me your pathetic...
He had nothing to do with it.
Racists are generally not very good examples of their race.
Welcome to Revachol. You hear him yell at a redhead woman visiting the... He must think redheads are immigrants.
I am not like them. I am craniometric perfection. I have...
The drawings are precise and look true to their pseudo-scientific ambitions. One thing, however, it is not entirely free of throwbacks in the phylogenetic tree. His large jaw, for example, could be a trait indicative of criminalism. Also, his earlobes could be small.
Atavistic stigmata makes pussy say yes, plenty.
Babe, thanks. But I got this. Don't be vulgar. White or not has got little to do with this. The race enigma runs much deeper than that. Mr. Claire is a man of vision and means. He has the will to confront International Capital. Also, to serve is noble. It takes discipline. Your petulant individualism has only contributed to your race failure. It is lax and moronic. Jam. Individualism. You have gotten these ideas from degenerate youth culture, have you not? Rock and roll is moribund. Only Koikos listen to it anymore. I am not surprised you enjoy it so much. This has happened to many of the side products of the inevitable cultural victory of the Seminoles race. I can see that. The Seminoles are the South Island race, haplogroup A4A, the rightful masters of the Insulindian archipelago. We are the future. I am a descendant. The narrow streets of Ulimbuir are with me in my genetic dreams. I know. I have heard about it on the radio. I'm from Couronne, and no, it is not just in Remachol. You have heard enough about our phylogenetic secrets for today. You have extinction to come to terms with. Think upon it.
I think this racist is better than the last. But the next racist will be the really good one.
That will be the...
He will grant us 3 wishes.
Your pedomorphic friend has quick wits. A protruding occiput, and
The lieutenant does...
you should keep him close. The congenital defect of farsightedness does not render him a complete invalid. He still has the use of his mind.
Hobocop. Technically, you wouldn't be a cop anymore, but a hobo. That would mean game over for the cop chapter of your adventures. But who knows where the hobo part takes you? To the bar? The old L'Assommoir? To the pier or the sewers? To Le Royaume, where for 300 years they interred the dead. You could plunder royalist crypts for long-forgotten triple malt bourbon, then fight the Arden-McCup. Hear that? Magnesium. That's what you're lacking. The lack of magnesium has you slouched. Yes, and it's critical. Look at yourself. You're practically devolving into... You need to get so magged up. You've probably had 2 heart attacks and a minor stroke already. Yes, if you want to live, you need to evolve. You need to transcend the cop.
Your race descent has only worsened since I last saw you.
Ask what kind of races there are first. Classification is core to this stuff.
Do you? What thing? We already got in the harbor.
You are obviously a liberal, Sayolite. A polyculturalist. I can see it from your love. There are 3 categories of race. Type A, the heroic races. Those are the Seminoles, the Areopagite, and the Occidentals. Excluding the Mao, of course. A receding genetic pool has led the Maun on reprehensible street parades. In Maun cities like Stadskanal, the Vespertines and Messenians of Vesper and Messina, the other large mondials, overproduction of sebum. Sebum is leaking into their brains. As proven by the mound and the mask, the Areopagites are sleek. The latter is perfected and adapting. Together they form this. You need to know both types A and B to understand.
Yeah, you have to have context.
Type B are the unheroic races, amorphous non-competitor.
The Koikos of Grad, Yugo, Zhimsk, Shest et al. Are what you would call white officer in a suspect.
Yes, to an untrained eye, the Koiko appear white and pinkish. Like a hat. Pinkness is a racial quality that has to be earned through centuries of advanced ballistic warfare. The Koiko, the countless micronationalities of Grad, are all inexplicably obsessed.
Wouldn't he be one for ethnostates?
The Vasholians, halfway.
Is it 82,000 years that we've been recording history? You have very little idea of what is happening. But that seems a little off.
The mysteries of the people of this planet are a tragedy that has played out countless times. The Revolution came to Ravachol from Grad in Zaraz-ridden potato carts. It is literally the Revolution is enough of tips. The F are a museum of failed chimeric experiments. Lesser races like the Mosquito, a grotesque mixture of a masked woman and a Semenese. The Mosquito is born sterile, like a dog.
It seems unlikely that two human beings produce genetically sterile offspring.
You are right. You have misunderstood. Then there is the sim. That is understandable. You understand nothing. To solve the great race enigma, you have to first ask. You need to internalize what you have heard here today, then return to me. This clarity does not come instantly. I cannot possibly imagine. So it was. You surmounted the harbor wall in a display of athletic prowess to reach my superior, then had him give me an order.
You're so
There's a but.
But while I am gone, someone must stand guard on the bridge. That someone needs to be you. Bo,
This is the uncomfortable result of not taking it on ourselves.
listen to your little friend. He is wise in his childlike way. His mysterious race may fine. Goodbye. Return to your degeneracy.
The man looks at you, silent and...
You are not Santiago. Santiago is not you.
It's clear you like the hard stuff, Brota. Evening falls. The vows are blurred and flesh. Lower intestine. The term is fascism, Brota. Many things, but it's mostly about trusting your gut. Who does your gut tell you is the source of Revachel's problem? Quit stalling, Bruta. We're talking about the weakest, worst, most yes, them Women. Women. Men of war. You don't like them. They're insane. Their idiocy needs... That's what fascism boils down to. The rest is also important. But the main thing is that women. You're going to keep your views, right? Keep your views, Brota. For the nation. Smart. Best not to mention the women too often. That's why you're the head and I am the stomach.
We should think about calling it a day, maybe. nights are still miserably... You should take care of that, then. Let's talk to him anyway. An officer of the RCM shouldn't be...
Can I help you? Yes, have you got it? Does that arrangement include you paying me what we already agreed you owe me?
I understand your predicament as the manager. However, I feel I must remind you that we are here to conduct an important investigation.
Forgive me for saying this, but your colleague seems more committed to... I mean no offense. It's really nothing personal. I just have to protect the interests of the... Good luck trying to use it.
Draconian measures.
All the locks have an electronic component. They have to be unlocked down here with a master key before your guest. Not until you bring me them.
Okay. I might have something in my motor carriage we can use when you're done here.
Oh, Lieutenant, we're done here.
Inside, you see a set of steering levers, a radio.
I have something here we could sell. Look in the back, in the...
Transport enclosure. Regular people just call it the cage. The cage at the back of the motor carriage looks rather uncomfortable.
I confiscated this for a little while back. We can take them to the pawn shop down by the Martinez Canal.
The lieutenant nods as you take the spinners. A sturdy metal door guards the southwest entrance to the apartment building. The door rattles against your knuckles, but the door rattles again.
Stop banging on the door! I'm not letting any more stress. The police? Everyone knows the police don't come round here. No, I already Go check the backyard door. Maybe someone there will...
Backyard door? There must be another entrance to the east.
Madame, I assure you, we...
There is no reply. Just faint sweeping...
Yeah, what's that noise down there?
You see a young man on a balcony.
Not looking for any trouble, officer.
It's the voice of someone who has something to hide, my liege.
Sorry, I don't have time for this.
Don't let him go. This could be your witness. The balcony has a great view of the whole thing.
Is it really that important?
Like a nervous cat, he keeps...
All right, but make it quick. Once I finish this cigarette, I have to run. I'd even go so far as to say that the view is a little too...
We will remove the body as soon as possible.
Oh. You already asked me that.
Wait, is someone else investigating the lynching?
No, not you two. Some more muscular type.
And when did you speak to this more muscular gentleman?
Last week? I don't know. Look.
A downy blanket of white to cover up.
You didn't answer the question.
It was my Sunday friend.
He doesn't reply, gesturing no with his cigarette under the dull and dark.
My name? My name is
That's definitely not his real name.
No, of course not. Could you please lower your voice? No. We won't. Now, if you'll excuse me, I really need to get going. Good luck with the investigation.
He's gone. No point in running. Tenements like these often have multiple exits. If he doesn't want to talk to us, then he'll know how to hide himself. He could be a witness. Him or his Sunday friend. There has to be a way of getting...
A stone, like any other, lying. There's a key beneath it, rusty from the...
This must be for the front door. Pity he doesn't have the apartment number. We'll just have to go in and see it.
You see rows of toy soldiers guarding the rest of the trinkets displayed on the table. Some on horseback, others in rags, others yet in bright blue uniforms. All are stern and unyielding in their duty. Big men on big horses, clad in lamella armor and carrying flintlocks, the kind.
I used to be very serious about my Franco-Nigerian nights.
They're not all blue. These figurines also wear gold coats and caps, complemented by orange trousers.
Which ones? Ah, royalist soldiers from the time of the Revolution. The uniforms are painted a bit too...
This set of soldiers isn't meant to look impressive. A few have rifles, but most of them carry pistols. Some even shot.
You're probably talking about the revolutionaries. I think their poverty has been exaggerated for effect. When you place them next to the royalists, it doesn't seem like they could possibly win. Maybe.
Why? What's this? A headless man riding a horse? A headless man wearing futuristic...
Oh, that's the Headless Phone Rider. The Headless Phone Rider. It's an urban legend. About a man who rides the streets of 50 cents. Bargain price. I'll throw in the tine.
He lost his cap when he lost his head. Perhaps he's looking for the head.
Did I mention that this figurine is supposed to be lucky?
Wow, a very large red t-shirt with an impressive print stands. Oh yeah, the print depicts a muscled man striding toward you, a giant sword in each hand, encircled by burning. The antlers on the hood of the man's cloak and his piercing blue eyes are familiar. Smells like worn cotton and a little old worn cotton with a side of flea market or trash bin.
Sniffing is okay, but please don't try anything on. Can't have you leaving your photo.
It's the man from Hendal.
Walking away from his burning village. Yes. The man from Yelmdal is the hero of a series of popular books based on a fictional version of Kotla. Mostly what is nowadays Arda and... In fact, most people don't think that man from Yelmdal ever really...
Hendal isn't a real place.
Neither is the man a real man, of course.
Wow, what?
I mean, even if the man from Yelmdal didn't exist before the adventure novels, the stories have made it so that he has.
Okay.
You sound skeptical. It's not that complicated. Besides, I've been to Kotla, though not quite as far north as the Yelmdal, and watched...
It's for the best, because Yelmdal is not... His theory isn't exactly incoherent, but its logic does suggest some unusual...
2 real.
That's dirt cheap.
But why? I deal in goods, not services. Welcome to Yelmdal, officer.
A typical Martinez streetlight sits among assorted floor and table lamps. The light pole has been carefully cut, and the wiring has been redone. This would make quite a statement in your living room.
Yes, officer.
His manner is casual, but his speech is careful, measured. He wants you to know that he has nothing to hide.
It was brought to me to be altered.
We are not here to investigate the theft of city property. You have to admit it's rather clever what he's done with it.
700 real. A bargain, I dare say. The light has undergone 3 transformations, and every transformation large or...
The light has been removed and rewired. That's 2 transformations. But what about the third?
The most important transformation is the light's placement among ordinary indoor fixtures, which has adjusted its morphological...
Okay, that checks out. The boomboxes on the shelf look well-loved and well-traveled. Chipped. One especially catches your eye. Deep gold and amber plastic will just make sure it works before you buy it.
Is the Harman Welsh W2, made in Vespa, designed in Seoul, plays all reel-to-reel formats, 2mm, 8mm, 12mm. It's even got a little radio. If police work means playing tapes, Sure. You can use it for... Absolutely. I've tested each one myself with recordings of speech, found sounds and music from a variety of genres. If you don't mind, please put the...
Photonic sensitivity is not generally acknowledged by the medical establishment.
Put the flashlight away, officer.
It's not often that I see officers from the arts. What can I do for you? I haven't had any problems myself, though some of...
Who are your customers?
All kinds of people come through here. Locals, travelers, people... As you can see, I have a wide selection of goods for everyone to choose from. It keeps me entertained.
He's well composed, but underneath it you sense psychedelic processes bubbling. Some kind of drug, maybe.
Yes, we'd like to sell these hubcaps.
Roy takes the hubcaps from the lieutenant.
Yes, these are very, very good. Did you defraud some?
No one was defrauded or jumped, I assure you.
Of course. I meant no offense. 200 real for you, officer.
Thank you. Here's the 130 real you need for your bill. Do not waste it.
The rest is for him, to compensate for the pain of being separated from his radiant spinners.
Anything else you're thinking of selling? Oh, no. I don't like those kinds of aphotic paths, counter-radiance networks,
You have absolutely no idea what aphotic paths are, but the tattoos on the man are not that.
Another time, perhaps. I doubt it, but I can try and answer any question. I do my best to keep my distance from all manner of butchery.
He doesn't know anything. The pawnbroker's gaze is already fixed on the dance.
Someone else came here earlier today asking the same question. I promptly sold her the gun you pawned a couple days.
This is a pawn shop, and it did feel as if you've met before. Oh God. The lieutenant shifts from one foot to another, alert.
You were adamant about getting rid of it, officer. Said you were undeserved, and I don't like keeping guns around the shop for long. Off the chart, she didn't seem like a policeman, although she kept referring to herself as a pig. Truth be told...
Right, so let me get this right. You sold your sidearm, issued by the citizens' militia, and now a civilian is running around the streets of Martinez with it? You're right that she could cast aspersions on the force. We have to find her.
My apologies, officer, but I have no idea where she was coming from.
A needle in a haystack. There is nothing you can do about it right now. You'll just have to hope Everard wasn't lying, and the Union can track her.
Maybe. Shady-looking guys came in here yesterday, looking like they'd just taken off their wild pines. They went their way. It was a trip.
Wait, then it might be true.
Maybe Claire really is tracking down your gun.
People as oleaginous as Everard seem like they're lying, even when they're really being truthful.
Of course.
Feeling warm and enthralled by the movement of light, while the mind continues to race forward. Lucky bastard. He's probably on Parolidon. It's tough to come by on the street. a drug developed by the military to treat and prevent radiation sickness. It has psychedelic side effects, and it makes your eyes turn yellow.
Why on earth? These are prescription. I can't really see without them. Prolodon is just something I was with the emergency relief brigade.
He's taken for mental and emotional, not physical pain these days.
A bad idea. Some poor leftist built a particle decay generator in hopes of bringing affordable electricity to under...
The People's Pile was a Type U particle decay generator that failed immediately after entering service, releasing radioactive waste in a primitive nuclear reactor, also called a... Construction began during the Commune of Revachol. The people continued work on it. Needless to say, an emergency valve defect resulted in steam pressure blowing the turbine, taking the fuel containment vessel up in the explosion. Both the faulty design and lack of finances contributed to the catastrophe.
We were an all-volunteer force, self-organized.
On the patch, gamma radiation line.
I lived by the river since I was a small boy. The Esperance. Didn't have the art to let it all go to shit without trying. There wasn't much the volunteer force could do, however. We wasted years in the river mud. Years getting sick. There's a reason why everyone's tried to forget any... So much disappointment. And early death. No one's. A bunch of poor people built themselves a primitive nuclear reactor, hoping for the best. What do you think is going to happen? The cleanup happened 15 years ago. I was young, so I came to Martinez. People told me don't go there. It's a shithole. I said, people, we just had a nuclear pile. I like the theory more than the story. Out.
Yeah, you gotta get in on those vortices, my man.
Have you tried it before?
The lieutenant steps away, pretending to admire some of the... He won't be your knock, but he won't be thrilled about this either.
Here you go, man. Of course.
Can I help you? Yes, have you got it? Well? Great. Thank you, officer. That's all I wanted. Payment for services rendered. If the electronic lock to your room has been disabled till 9 p.m. tomorrow, please pay for each night in advance starting tomorrow. 20 real per night.
I'll take a room here too.
Of course. Always happy to have officers from the RCM as guests. Anything? Another thing. Great. Yes?
The worker is in a deep slumber. There is only one way to wake this bone idol from his slumber.
Why the yelling, man?
Looks like a Sow descendant. A lot of Sow
Wait, what? I was just sleeping. What do you want, officer?
They got it. Majorette's got it. He's guarding the gate. Or just getting some sleep.
That's the name of my employer.
How's it going? Haven't you noticed what's going on outside? Good. Then you understand. For one, I can get some god...
Yeah, what about it?
You know, people die here every day.
If someone has decided to die on top of a tree, I can tell you that.
You heard what I said?
The lieutenant gives you a little nod, then makes a note in...
Thank God, no.
The worker stares at you. His eye...
I don't know what you're talking about, kind sir. But when I'm out... We are. The workers. The union. We know...
Okay. I guess there's also Everard. He's in charge of the union. He's...
Indeed. Help yourself to some... Wait. No.
The dock worker doesn't answer. His head...
Can I help you?
Yes? What do you want to know? What's there to say? It's just the cop kind. Our precincts can't decide if Martinez is part of Jamrock or the Industrial Harbor. Yours or mine, as if we somehow own parts of the city. Typical street... Well, sort of. It's less a matter of who gets to Police Martinez than who... I think the dispatch desk just told both our stations about the hanging. There was quite the brouhaha at the 57th, I can tell you that. Time to settle it, they said. Cop off. But...
So, he volunteered to represent the 57th. Somewhere in your mind hangs a dark green blackboard. There are 2 columns. One says, cases solved. The other, confirmed kills.
A good joke. It's good we said this thing. Was there anything else you wanted to ask about the competition? If not, we should move. Yes, I'm an unrepentant spoilsport. Well, technically, the official record keeper has been...
A common accounting gimmick used to inflate precinct stats.
I'm good enough for this case. I'm not here to compete. I came because I had to. My fellow officers, the sergeants in particular. Martinez? Nothing. It's just a puddle at the end of some drain pipe. No one cares about this place.
The rows are endless. Jean Vicmer, Judith Minot, a special consultant. What was his name?
Yes, it's a wholly pointless matter. Forget I ever mentioned it.
Look at you. It's because you're a failure. They sent you to slight Precinct 57. Just think about it for a second. You're a raging alcoholic who showed up 3 days late, wearing piss-stained...
I've considered it. It would be immensely ugly of them, not to mention unprofessional. I checked the records. This jurisdiction dispute, who polices Martinez, reaches back to the 30s. It's as old as my station. And all this time we can't decide who gets Martinez? I am the finest of nothing. Safe? No. But you're old. You've made it this far. Something has brought you... So no, I don't think they sent you as a joke. And even if they did, they are in for a surprise.
This is the door to the room.
Just a moment. You had some questions earlier, I believe. And besides, we...
The air outside is brisk. The lieutenant is silent for a moment. He listens to the traffic hum. Then...
Where shall we begin? We should talk about the investigation, first and foremost. But I also remember you wanting to discuss the RCM? I have a cigarette every night when I go over my notes. It's something...
Oh man, he looks so devastatingly cool with that cigarette.
I apologize, but I only brought one with me. I have exactly one cigarette every night while going over my... You mean this? This isn't cool. It's an unnecessary trial of will.
Keeping the habit within the parameters he's given himself takes a lot of... Yet, were he to quit, he would lose the cool factor. This man relishes his cool quite a bit.
Yes. It's been a long and eventful day. Well, we inspected the victim's body, so that's good. It was not... I would say our initial inspection was very thorough, and we have solid leads to follow up on. Then you shot him in the chest, which wasn't it.
By not ideal, he means he can't believe he let you try that trick and would be angry if he didn't feel the outcome was partly his responsibility.
Being sober tends to help with precision. But moving on to we conducted an interview with Everard Clare. He wasn't particularly forthcoming with you.
He's not saying much on the matter because he thinks you could have gotten more out of Everard.
Claire also helped you, how should I say, remember your name? That's a relief. Moving on, we didn't talk to the Wild Man's rep. We really must. Above all, though, today was exhausting. What's with all the running? You run a lot. Is that a standard Precinct 41 practice? It's impressive, especially for a man your age. Nice shoes, by the way. I like the green. Goes with the orange. They're quite limited, actually. The power officers of the Rebachol Citizens Militia exercise most frequently is imposing fines of up to 1,000 real for offenses, in accordance with an interdepartmental schedule. The RCM's primary role is to ensure safety. We are not really supposed to play any part. Yes, although indirectly, as citizens can always request. Officers of the RCM have been known to take bribes of less than the prescribed fine amount. It undermines trust. We can arrest people, of course, but rather than bringing someone in directly, it's preferable to serve a station call slip. It prevents confusion and overcrowding. You can't. Those who don't show up become fugitives, though, and have fewer legal rights when they are eventually caught. It's, as you may have gathered from the fact that we are expected to carry a record of our kills, like the one in your watermarks, we are permitted to use whatever force is necessary. You have to supply compelling evidence for why it was necessary to use lethal force. In these cases, you're not a good position to be in, by the way. Internal Affairs handles these cases thoroughly, by cross-examining you for inconsistencies. It is hard to cope. We don't convict. We arrest and send them to coalition government courts in Couron and La Delta. The prosecution works off our testimonies and records. which is why it's paramount to keep them. The coalition government and the moral intern. The RCM was formed by the coalition government to restore order in the international zone after the revolution. So we did. Or perhaps it is better to say we were allowed to form. It's a point of contention whether the citizens of Revachol or the coalition government founded the RCM. Be sentimental if you like. Either way, the moral intern leases us the right to keep the peace.
Or if they think you do.
The Moralist International are the world's largest political organization. You know who they are. They have been running this place after the revolution failed. Okay. They're a union of center-left and center-right parties across the Real Belt. Our coalition government is just one of its many projects. They also run the ICP, EPIS, most intergovernmental organizations in the world. What do they believe in? They are Dolorians. They believe they continue the humanist project set forth by Her Innocence Dolores.
Those others say they continue the humanist project set forth by...
Interesting question. It's a blue forget-me-not. Their motto is love, compassion.
Something kind and usual. Something almost something like the dark blue, serious color of the early night sky above.
A historic figure? The author of the modern age? You will have to look elsewhere for opinions. The moral intern are a fact. I try not to have opinions on facts until they change. And it doesn't look like that's about to happen. Do you? Well phrased. I understand answering to foreign powers doesn't sit well with immigrant bashing, but without the EMI, we would be common vigilantes. That's spoken like a revolutionary, not a cop. But hypothetical aside, in Martinez we already are vigilantes. At least the Union thinks so. I expect our job here to prove quite challenging.
The dying lights of the city shimmer below. Slowly, like luminous clouds, an aerostatic passes overhead. The whiskers of its floodlights on the ground.
They really don't like us here. And the mouth on that kid, Kuno. It's different. It's our fault for leaving this place to the dogs, to the Union, to the company. Not daring to come here more often. It's like I told you, this place is an... We run this city. West of the river is RCM land. It's incredibly hard. Human beings are... But we are in control. And it's worth it. The organization works. Our systems work. If they didn't, the city would disintegrate. Me too. But I wouldn't count on any drastic changes in our lifetimes.
He is very tired, but the dark circles under his eyes make him look younger, not old.
Yeah, it's getting very cold now. Let's go. Yes?
A mirror hangs on the bathroom wall. In it, your face, adorned with the expression. A mirror hangs on the bathroom wall. In it, your face. The faucet is quite terribly mangled. You handle the chain cutters deftly, applying... Told you that you needed those chain... The mirror begins to clear slowly, without you having to wipe it. It's too late. Like an image on film. The expression belongs to you. The bed is cold and not but the window stands broken. The morning light hurts your eyes. The bed is cold and not. The sheets feel at once coarse and clammy against your skin. The bed sags beneath your weight as you stretch out and then sleep. And then sleep doesn't come. Obviously, you're in bed with your eye. Maybe it's the bed's fault. Its synthetic filling has separated. It smells of alcohol and sweat. And it barely covers your toes, stretching over your soft belly. A bit tense in the muscles. Relax. It's a little better. Colors, scenes, and half-formed phrases still litter your mind. Part of you, something to do with. What was it that the lieutenant said? Union? And it's gone again. Your breathing steadies. A great silence washes over you until your eyelids twitch in your skin.
Do you remember the scent of your childhood? What it says on the can, Harry? Do you remember your wife's hand on your face? You know who I am. I'm the bad day. The one where you ask her, and then later in the streets, wandering. It's the worst day of all time, Harry dear. And it's coming. Reality will turn into a grotesque nightmare. This will be the last thing you did to her. Tell me, do you remember the love of your life? Do you remember the warmth of her thighs, between her legs and in... Oh no, Funky baby, you stayed. It was the rest of it. Tell me, where are your friends? Human beings have friends, Harry. No, it's gone. 3 times gone and never coming back. You failed Elysium. Everything. The Pale and the useless. You really dropped the ball, Harry. 4.6. No, Harry. You were just talking to yourself. You'll be back in those cold stinky boy. You're not coming back from shit. Thrashing around in that high con... You're trying to what? I can't hear you. This is just a word dream now. Jumbled up garbage. The pictures are gone. The bed rises to meet you. A thin, sleep-like state. More glass than velvet, grinding in your head.
So something is wrong. Sleep shouldn't be this bad, this dry, this unnourishing. Oh yes, party boy, and it's worse than the one before. Just think of the shit you saw. Time to go to work in the shit factory.
Good going, buddy. Really? Because you feel even worse this morning than you did last night. You mean, why are you so tired? Too tired and down to even think? It is worrying, isn't it? That's not really true. Your heart is... You're too weak to say no now. Waking up is the worst part. Maybe somewhere down the line you could decline. Of course. Martinez is... You and Speed will be happy again. The door is closed. This door can only be opened with a... Still nothing. Still.
Morning. Looks like we can get to work at once. The Union muscle turned up. They look rowdy. We should talk to them. This is clearly the Union's peacekeeping force. We can't be sure, of course. Evart may have lied to us. He definitely has an agenda of his own. I mean ungovernable. Martinez isn't exactly enthusiastic about the RCM being here. Men who drink beer for breakfast. I have no doubt these are the Hardy Boys Evart told us about. The ones who keep the peace around here. And the big one must be Hardy himself. I completely forgot. Sorry, I had a rough night's sleep. One loose thread less to worry about. And one big problem to replace it. That would just escalate tensions. No captain would sign off on it. Solving one murder isn't worth a conflict between... In fact, even the death of 2 detectives might not warrant an all-out war. So let's keep it. One more thing before we do. We don't have to talk to them immediately. We can walk right past them.
Yeah, streetwise. Zoom right, but aren't you curious to...
They're in no hurry to leave. They think they own the place.
Just a moment.
She's agitated, judging from the way she keeps putting...
And there's no public phones near...
The closest phone booth is down the coast. So...
It's fine, I understand. Thank you anyway. I'm glad to see you again, dear. Please don't trouble yourself about me, sweetie. I was just... The Union office probably has a phone, but I can't really get there. Or the manager was vague about it.
Why would he be vague about phone problems?
To let the young woman who's house-sitting for us know that we may be delayed. Morel, my husband, and our friend Gary were supposed to get back by Monday. I was also hoping...
A little missing persons puzzle might just be the thing to take your mind off the hangover.
That's just it. This isn't like him at all. You have more important things to worry about. Just some field work, sweetie. Morel is a highly trained, but they should have returned by now. They were just going down the coast across the water lock to set a few traps.
He said they'd be back on Monday. Oh, sweetie, it's nothing like that. Gary's as loyal as they come. I trust him. There's a nameless old fishing village nearby, but we've never had it.
I can't say it's the best part of town, but I wouldn't worry.
Some fringe science is exactly what's needed right now.
Are you sure we have time to go chasing after bug hunters just now? I did suggest we play it cool, but... I sincerely doubt it. Still...
Oh, thank you, officers. Truly, I'll be right here if you come across any sign of Morel. Oh dear, I'm not sure where... Well, his expression is slightly...
You can't go around Revachol feeling grown men's hands. If you want to find her husband...
Oh, well, he's a bit shorter than you, but with long...
The lieutenant pulls out his...
One other thing, he'll likely have all kinds of field gear on. We'll be celebrating our 16th anniversary this autumn. Not the most numerically satisfying anniversary, but via dating agency, I'm ashamed to say. I was looking to get... We hit it off, and...
She's skipping over some important parts. Perhaps you'll find out more later.
I hope I've been useful. Oh, yes.
It's a pseudoscience that attempts to legitimize research into mythological beasts and urban legends.
That's one opinion, yes. And
she's used to playing off such insults casually.
My apologies, ma'am.
It's not a hobby, dear. It's a subfield of zoology. Searching for such species called cryptids is difficult and often thankless.
The quality of research at Revacholian universities has been on the decline, but you doubt there was ever a time when cryptozoology was embraced by the academic elite.
Oh, sweetie, it's fascinating.
The lieutenant gives you a sideways glance.
Well, it's a phasmid.
Ah, yes, Phasmatodia, a diverse group of insects whose bodies resemble twigs, leaves, that sort of...
Where other phasmids imitate sticks or hence its name, the Insulindian phasmid.
I knew it. We're gonna be chasing mid...
It's not made up, officer. It's simply elusive. So much so that most established... Well, some teenagers making out in the reed saw one. They didn't know what it was, of course, but there was a brief article in a local newspaper. Of course, most phasmid sightings turn out to be false alarms, but they're just...
Enthusiasm has wiped the worry from her face.
I suppose I have something of a personal connection to the Insulindian Not at all. Why? Oh, I doubt it. No one gets into cryptozoology for the money. Oh dear. I'm afraid I'm not explaining. Morel can explain it all much better. I wish you could hear him describe it. Then you'd understand, I'm sure.
You're an enthusiastic idiot, but you're...
We don't have time for Cryptozoology 101. Let's get back to work.
Hey, so we've been monitoring you internally, and now we know you're... Yes. Guess what's yours? No, you're the sorry cop. The cop who's sorriest. Let's make it official then, shall we? Oh, you know, Apocalypse, Superstellar, the advanced interesting cop, Liquid Shadow cop. What? Jealous of the They'll be super fine. It'll be totally okay. You can dual copotype from sorry to anything. No, you don't. Come on. You'll be back to saying sorry in 2 minutes. Stop wasting time and begin the... Wow. Okay. Fuck off.
Can I help you? Got the 20 real? Then why are you wasting...
The man ponders his cooking utensils and gives you a little nod, acknowledging.
Speak Revacholian? We speak Suren. There is no such thing as the Revache.
The cook is still smoking. Ash for.
Good thing he didn't understand a word of your stupidity.
You see a heavy steel door with the door does not.
Let me handle this. Detective disorientated. Are you still wondering where you are?
Her entire character has shifted. This young woman is cold as ice.
That's right. I am not a gardener. So let's get to it. You're looking for Titus Hardy? You think that's Titus? Talk to him. But know this. I'll be keeping an...
It doesn't matter if you recognize our authority.
She says nothing. Could this be the Miss Buford that Easy Leo mentioned? The one Mr. Everard sent to law school?
I suggest not wasting time on trivial pleasantries and
Even though she has excellent control over herself, something moved behind her eyes. In the way she...
You are not here to chat up the legal counsel. You are here to question these men. Like I already told you, I'm a legal counselor. Do you have hearing problems? What you want is of no significance, officer. Don't test your authority. What are we going to do to you? The Union isn't going to do anything.
Goddamn right it is.
If anything, it is the RCM who do things to people. But we digress. Aggressive, you make your living in...
Just dock workers? Do dock workers spy on the police? We've talked to Everard Clare. We know who these men...
Listen, you moral intern lackeys. You're a mob, enforcing the unlawful privatization of Revachol.
Fuck yeah.
So ask what you came to ask, or get back to your commanders. Look, a comedian. Do your job. Ask your...
Strange. It's as if people don't believe a cop could be a socialist revolutionary. Behind the dockworkers, a ceiling height window. The hawthorn branches scrape the glass like bony fingers. There's a little slide panel up there to let some air in. No need to open it in spring. It's still too cold outside.
This is where you say your bit.
Detective.
Oh, this is...
You're sure taking your time, waiting for him to get...
Oh, he was a real pretty boy by now. Real hot stuff. Letting out that pretty boy smell.
Time to go to work in the
Easy, boys. These janitors...
You might want to start asking your questions.
Do a head count first. Connect these men to the tracks you saw in the yard. Chances are they're starting from the right. Boot size, sitting on his right. Standard working boots. Across at the other table. Hobnailed working boots. Size 43. Gang tattoos. Mess. He spent his youth in Villa Labos, a housing project in the Jamrock. And then, standard working boot. Steel reinforced toes. Side. The emblem on his vest says Rowing Club. In the far corner, standard working boot. Steel reinforced toes. Size 44. 40-something on his neck. Let's call this one the musician. Size 41, with the light step. Not a child, after all. An older man with a rat face, mean, watery eyes, and 2 front teeth missing. In the middle, heaving and wheezing. Big guy. Boot size 46. Deep marks. Probably carried the victim over. He, alone, is 1/3. In conclusion, these 7 are the actors on the crime scene. The footprints were theirs. Exactly. You've stood there for about 4 seconds, not...
The fuck is with you, fella? What are you talking about, madman? There's no 8th Hardy. Or what? You want to be the 8th Hardy boy?
Actually, boss, we've been talking and we think she could maybe...
She? So there's an 8th Hardy, and it's a Hardy girl?
Shut the fuck up, Glenn! I do.
It has to be good, if he won't let you pursue it.
So let me get this straight. There is an 8th Hardy boy. It's a she, and you don't like us talking about her?
That's right. We're not talking about this. This is a prop. You're not cops here. Don't go digging her.
Good. We are all watching each other. Officer, your question.
The pretty boy. You guys
Funny. But my partner and I have a serious matter to discuss with you.
Everard? And what did he tell you? That we killed him? That we took a cargo belt from the harbor, went out back, and used it to hang him? Because we did. All of us together. I hope he told.
There's a catch hidden somewhere. He didn't confess so that you could take them all away. It's too simple.
There is no catch. These 7 honest men have all equally come forth to tell you what happened, so that you don't waste any more of your time.
All 7 together. They're diluting responsibility. It's an anti-arrest tactic.
Why? 'Cause he was worthless mercenary scum. And he stepped out of...
What kind of mercenary?
The kind that shows up when you start a strike. The experience.
A live grenade. Right here in our...
I can't prove it. But I know he was sent by the Wild Pines.
Cause one night, he walked straight up to the mic and said, I'm R&E.
Really?
Yeah, really. Had a gin and tonic up there, sang some R&E.
We couldn't believe it either, but he fucking did, right there.
Sire, the tale is true. This is a serious violation of the karaoke code.
Wrong. He harassed women, raped one.
From rape to harassment to threats of violence. Why this?
To kill us all if we don't open the gates, if we don't let the scabs in, if we don't.
Yeah, he said it was his favorite joint now. Started to come in here every night. Drinking,
He grabbed someone?
Yeah. This girl's on the mic. A beautiful girl, young. Gets into the second verse of Lover Lake. Show me your cunt! Why don't you show me your cunt? Then, he gets knocked on the head with a wine bottle. Doesn't even fall down.
Aren't you fucking listening? My man is talking to you.
Yeah, me and Eugene got around.
There's something odd here. Seems like they don't want to talk about that rape Titus mentioned. Why not? This is a serious allegation. Make them...
No. You're not getting the name.
There's nothing you can do for now. He's stonewalling you.
You don't have to answer any of his questions.
I know, Lizzie. Relax. We killed him last Sunday night. Seemed like a good way to...
Known him? Yeah!
Quiet. He came around about 3 weeks ago when that Pines cow...
By the Pines cow, you mean the representative for Wild Pines? The shipping company you're striking?
No. I mean the Pines cow. The stupid-ass cow. Why don't you ask her about the pretty boy? I'm sure she has interesting things to say when you ask her hard enough.
That's enough insinuation for today, Titus. Officer, your interview is drawing to an end. Don't waste your last questions. Are you deaf? There will be no singling anyone out. Do you think you could do that? Do you think you could...
A trick question. Don't let her lead the conversation.
Who do you fucking think does?
Titus, no one was thinking...
that there's any question who's the leader. That's how he would have...
No. Fuck no! The big dick is right here. Ask...
Disregard the outburst, officer. None of the boys have any comments on their power relations. That night, they acted as one. That's all.
How many people have you sent to the Chaise?
Chaise électrique is the method of capital punishment in Revachol.
Or send them to Reunion to rot. For 20 years. For life.
The River Esperance Correctional Facility, a military prison run by the Coalition, dubbed Reunion by the inmates.
Oh, so you are just a simple, well-meaning man, eh?
So is hanging a man, slowly, without breaking his neck.
We hanged him up by his neck.
Didn't they teach you anything at the...
This is where an autopsy would come in handy. You have to work with what you know.
Titus,
We overpowered him. Dragged his unconscious body to the tree. Put a noose...
Then we left him for seagulls, maggots...
Make them a bit more uncomfortable first. Then see if it all adds up.
With numbers, asshole. How do you think?
No, he hasn't. Not yet.
Weren't you fucking listening? The fucker came to our bar. It happened right here.
Titus is solid as a rock, and so are a few others. But Elaine, who looks like he might be Titus's right-hand man, the least antsy of the bunch. Definitely not his first time being questioned by the police. This little rat-faced fellow is solid, too. Always fidgety, yes, but no change there. Him neither. Mostly keeps to his tomato juice, or whatever he's got there.
No.
Of course he's having trouble breathing. Just look at how
Fuck off, Shanky. Angus is...
Keep your eye on this powerful guy. Sooner or later, he's going to break like a piece of twig.
And fuck you, too, Copper. Picking on Angus like that.
This one is a stone wall. You won't get more out of them about the night of the murder. Not yet.
Like what, Copper? Yeah, lawman. Why don't...
It's almost an anthropological sight, watching him try to assert...
Not in the arresting...
By your side, the lieutenant keeps his hand away from his... While the little rat-faced man reaches into his sleeve. There's a knife in there. Some of the others reach for their belts.
Wise move. You made the right choice there. Now make another one.
Nothing. Your investigation here is done. Leave Martinez, go back to your stations where you belong.
I think we're going to stick around, thanks. I've done this job for long enough to know that people don't just confess to first-degree murder, even if it is a group responsibility.
Good luck with that. You've heard everything a rent-a-cop is gonna hear from us. Real law officials. You're lucky you didn't get a beating. Oh, so you went and talked to my mommy.
And what's gonna happen if we don't? You're gonna go and tell on us?
Yeah, I heard him. Now let me state this very clearly, Capo. Hell.
But having Everard back you up like that did seem to have some effect.
Again, just get the dead guys off.
Good one, Titus.
About fucking.
I've got nothing to say to you. Why I am not.
You could be Liz. You could be anything. You could even be a model.
Even a mod? Glenn.
He's right. With a face like that, she could be on the cover of Le Debutante International. The cold look in her eyes speaks louder than words. It's not her. She's not a hardy girl. Definitely. With a matrix of push buttons lists all the companies in the East Delta Commerce Center. This button looks new, but someone has...
This button looks new. It's probably not connected yet.
An off-key melody starts playing.
Kuno, please stop calling here. Grown-ups don't...
She thinks you're the gremlin child. What would he say to this? A single beep indicates that the line has gone dead. You ring the door. What an ominous name for it. All you hear is static, but no one answers. You ring the doorbell, but you wait for a minute or two. Looks like someone has melted half the plastic off with a lighter. The doorbell. You hear static from the intercom. You can almost hear them breathe.
Yes, hello. This is Tracy.
She sounds almost antique, as if her voice was being... Wait, but what happened to Slipstream SCA? There's no Tricentennial Electrics on the list. The lieutenant exchanges.
It's you.
She must be mistaking you for... Who cares that you don't remember her? Just go along with it.
Michelle, just please. Why did you even call? I don't understand. You've I've been gone for months. Ever since I came here.
A spot of static.
It's so nice to be able to find...
She sounds like she's about to cry. She doesn't answer. Silence. The only thing you can hear now is static and waves washing ashore. Another seagull passes by.
I don't know what happened either. We should probably stop playing with this thing.
You press the number sign on the keypad that terminates the call. 12 name cards on the call box read. Silence. No one's home at 4. Silence. No one answers the doorbell. Nothing happens after you ring the doorbell. They don't want to talk to you. Silence. No one answers your call.
Yes, a sci-fi. Me? No one. I'm just a work...
If she's such a working-class woman, why isn't...
Not all the time. Right now I'm browsing books. Even a working-class woman needs something. It is. I know you are.
Everyone can see that. The rectangles.
What with?
What with? A lot of things. For example, people tend to go missing.
My husband? No, I don't know. At home now? Out drinking with his...
Where is this going, officer?
Yes, but... I don't really need to know where my husband is. No. Why are we still...
It's got to be something else then. Why else would you be asking her if it wasn't?
No, absolutely not. Are you a policeman or a nanny? They are not...
You know where they are. They're at home. Smoke.
What? That's just... My daughter... They're almost grown up now anyway. They're past the age they need me protect... I don't mean to disrespect, sir, but...
For what it's worth, I agree. But cockatoos can't be stopped when...
I don't even have...
It's a trap. Never ever say what.
Even if I had, it would... Great. Nothing.
Maybe you should. What if the cockatoo is your astral captain? Or your heraldic bird?
Wonderful. The story's open.
Her hands move over the book covers. The tips of her fingers look rough. The woman before you... A small mountain of colorful board game boxes. There are numerous types of games for all ages. A lot of shelf space seems to be taken up by Wirral-related merchandise.
Wonderful board games, sir. The Viticulturist is a classic for sure. Raubritter is a fun game of economic competition, but can get quite intense after a while. We have games for the whole family. You can play with your children. Then you're a lucky man, officer. Children... For playing with friends, I'd recommend Suzerainty. It's a civilization building game where you build a civilization, then set off to brutally colonize and repress other civilizations. Lousy auras there. No, role-playing games are popular. I've heard they turn people into occult enthusiasts. That they have rituals where they try to summon entities.
An endless variety of source books. There's also a large hardbound books in a board game section. Who wants to read books? There's a box that says Wirral 3rd edition mega setting supplements module. The side panel notes a fantastique adventure board game. new maps and miniatures. A sticker on it displays 25 real. That price is steep, but then it's the 3rd edition Mega Set-in supplement, so it makes sense. You see a set of tattered curtains blocking the...
Excuse me, officer. The back room is strictly for employees only. Nothing. Now please go back to browsing the books. Don't you feel...
She speaks almost as if she's trying to put us... Oddly enough, the more she tries to draw you away from the curtains, the more alert. You see some kind of charm, an irregular polyhedron assembled from bone. This is a traditional Seminese ward, meant to provide protect inhabitants of Ile de Fantôme. Aside from poking at it suspiciously, there is nothing else to do with the fish head charm at this time. Just as you're about to pull apart the...
Sir, don't touch that. I told you it's... Parapsychologically speaking, we're done if you decide to open them.
She looks away, mumbling. Why is everyone always messing with the curtains? Why can't they just buy books like normal people?
No, it's just a storeroom for the employees, I told you. Now please, step up. Why? It's not like anyone was killed. I'm sorry, I don't mean to be so impolite. Just please don't go there. I can't...
The curtains do seem frail suddenly. Not robust enough to contain...
No! Please just talk to me, officer. Come here.
Talking is always... The curtains, tattered with age and covered in dust, hang before you, as if taunting you. The curtains...
Nothing. Now please...
She speaks oddly enough. The more she tries to draw you away from the... You see a dimly lit room full of dusty furniture and trash.
I warned you. You're unleashing forces.
A heavy door with a missing handle stands before you, covered in dozens, if not hundreds, of Seminese trinkets and charms. Only an echo, a hollowed-out, dark echo. These shelves are overburdened with books. A couple of spook novels hide amidst all the detective books. 3.
Oh, crime, robberies, murders, even sex. You're a police officer, apparently.
Note, reading about Dick Mullen would not actually make you a better detective. Crime fiction is a disgrace. And asinine, these books greatly overstate the excitement of police work, glossing over how, what's more, they completely ignore the psychological, not a single mention of all the stress this work creates upon the officer's family. Detective fiction, you see Dick Mullen on the job. Get me Mullen. A killing is declared. Dick Mullen in the murder. Oh no, turns out he faked it to solve a case. Yes, there's also tragedy calls. After all this, you still haven't found the answer to the one question that matters. Who is... Your attempt to grasp at the answer fails. It seems very... The plaque on the shelf reads, biographies of famous people. You see a large variety...
I would say... The Greatest Innocence. Yes, most certainly. A very influential historical... The book is also very daring. The author aims to re-examine the universal understandings of the innocentic system, creating a fresh vantage point. Perhaps for a layman, deep analysis is necessary.
Do her words seem vague and abstract?
Certainly. It's prudent for a person to have at least an elementary understanding.
You feel like you should get this one? Definitely. It's important somehow. There's something personal inside. Browsing through all the books with all them, suddenly, a particularly odd title catches your eye. It reads, High Speed Love chronicles the romance between two of the finest. Next to that, Revacholian radio personality.
I really must insist you buy one of the books. Reading them is not for free. I'm sorry, I did not mean to rush you.
Several maps have been attached to a bulletin board hidden inside the alcove. The maps look old and faded. Your eye catches a map of Insulinda, a map of Revachol. This large map displays archipelago Ozon, disintegrating into mathematics. In the northeast, a dust mite stands on the north coast of Caillou in a bookstore. You can. On 850, the ocean breaks apart into a tangle of cosigns and azimuths, all pointing into pale nothingness. Connections to other worlds. Words past the Insulin, you have little idea what they are. Distanced, perhaps they are gods. Gods of distance and...
I'm sorry, officer. The map of Martinez is the only one available. They're quite valuable, though they might not look it. The map of Martinez is 90 cents, though. Yes. Are you interested or not?
You peek at the storekeeper, waiting for her to be distracted. You're now the proud owner of a map of Martinez, which, to be honest, this bookstore is not strictly about crime, romance, and biographies of famous people. There's also a wide range of paranatural literature.
Sir, please, no browse. I can't have you end up, like, opening a police store next door and stealing my car.
Amidst the various books, you find one written by someone named... These three things are very important. The point of the book, and many others on this shelf, is to give people medicinal advice. It serves platitudes, while also telling everyone that traditional medicine, the wholeness, unity, when it's up to your mind, various paranatural books. The display rack is brimming with worn paperbacks featuring an extremely muscular, sword-wielding barbarian on the cover. Nearly all mountains of it. Heroic quantities of Hyamdall. Roy's puny rows and rows of Hyamdalla men blur your vision. You make maybe 100. Man from Hyamdall and the sages at the end of the world. The display rack before you is burdened under piles of Man from Hyamdall novels. A twinge at the back of your head makes you flinch. Your hand reaches toward a book with glossy cover art of the very muscular. Between the throne and the Hyamdalla man lies a bonfire, casting shadows on the wall. Especially those leering types who seem to wear nothing but an armored bikini. There's also, it's symbolic of violence. The display rack before you is burdened under piles of Man from Here. just an ordinary wall. Nothing to see here. That isn't just a five-pointed star. It's an inverted white pentagram cradled in a wreath of antlers. The star and antlers was developed in the 6th decade of the... Even today, half a century after, the star and antlers retains the ability to symbolize the toppling of the... Also, some social because white is the color of peace. Communism is the ideology of gutless intellectuals and clueless university students. They don't care about the real working man. This door has been closed with a padlock. A chalk-drawn number on the board. No reply. It's a solid lump of metal, but the shackle is deeply corroded. A solid pair of...
You seem committed to it, so go on.
The shackle snaps like a...
After you, detective.
A plaster cast bust depicts a middle-aged man with impressed... Krasmazov, nom de guerre, was an economist and a theoretical historian. He was a leading figure in the Grad side of the turn-of-the-century revolution, where he headed the 9-day government.
The White Star, the photos on the wall. I think we have broken into the apartment of a young communard. How fitting. I suspect that's exactly what they are trying to do. There aren't many communists around, not after the revolution. Some youth still keep the ideology going.
The lieutenant raises a brow.
Thank you for sharing this wonderful opinion on human sexuality. There aren't many communists around, Not after the revolution.
You hear someone walking around inside. The walking stops abruptly. A poor communard from the looks of it.
Do I have to open the door? Do you have a warrant?
Let's go. We don't have a reason.
It's generally easier to do things if you have literally a poor communard from the looks of it.
Do I have to? Do you have a warrant?
Let's go.
It's generally...
Give me a moment. The cold never does any good for my bronchitis. I'm fine. Fine. Now, what do you...
She's the cleaning lady. She knows the floor plan and the...
I'm no one. Just an... If you can call it living. I have a little room upstairs. It's barely bigger than a closet. But I don't complain, no.
She hasn't spoken to anyone for a while. Even her sentences feel rusty.
Yes, yes. I know who you mean.
Somewhere in the building, a child starts crying.
What's he in trouble for? Talk?
What was so funny?
He lives upstairs in room 28. Go to the balcony.
Thank you. We should go check out his apartment on the balcony. See if he's home.
Ask away, policeman. No one lives there. It's been empty for months. Impossible. I would know if someone had moved in. Maybe it's those countercultural people again. Breaking into a house like it's a public... Great. Young people. They're worse than rats. You know, always lit... Oh, that one is a scientist. I think he studies astrology at the community college. Something to do with all those stars around his door. Here, the symbol of what now? Ah, all I know about politics.
She mumbles some kind of a response. Then hacks.
Ask away.
She mumbles some... You hear someone walking around.
Excuse me?
You have plenty of reason to enter.
Oh, come on!
Well,
that was smart.
Satisfied? My name is Marielle Charpentier, and I'm an agent with Martinez Realty Associates.
Boy, there are a lot of...
Do you want to see my ID as well? You can't legally ask for it, but why not? Want to see my residence permit too?
It feels flimsy in hand, with the words Revachol Zone of Control written under a nondescript.
Thank you. Do you have any questions? I need to be back in Midtown in an hour. I need to get it ready for the next lease, but as you can see, the previous tenant, it was some kind of a moribund old man who used...
A sudden serious look crosses her
But that was months ago. Anyway, was there anything you wanted? Oh, that's another huge mess. The former tenant owes us 3 and again, I have no idea how stupid mistakes like this can even happen. A hole in the wall. Can you believe it? And then the tenant ran off with his stuff. He's gone. The money's gone. Just like that.
The sum must have been puny.
These apartments are perfectly fine. They have gorgeous orchids. I'll tell you, Martinez has a future. In a few years, it's going to blow. Well, it does not disappear from my hands. No. Don't ask me what happened with the wall. I have no idea. Both apartments are now, of course.
Master Investigator, you just can't keep yourself away from locked and hidden places, can you? Attaboy, the world's secrets were made for you. They wait patiently for you.
Give me a moment. I see. I hope some good people are finally going to move in. This place needs them. Yes. Well.
Your statements are too vague to comment on.